Hello, and welcome to this channel, and in this episode we're going to be making a caramelized onion and mushroom quiche with Havarti cheese. I'm also going to show you how to achieve a flaky pie crust that is ideal for pie making. The ingredients are listed in the description box down below. Follow along in this video for directions. And if you're not a member to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below to help this channel grow. Awesome, let's get started. Okay, so what I had done is measured out 3 cups of unbleached all-purpose flour, 6 large brown eggs, 2 sticks of unsalted butter, cubed and frozen, 2 cups of diced mushrooms, also 2 cups of diced onions, and 2 cups of shredded Havarti cheese. We also need sea salt, pepper, nutmeg, 1 cup of ice water, also 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. Sweet, let's make our flaky pie dough. Start off by sifting our flour onto a counter surface, and then add 1 teaspoon of sea salt to the flour and give it a light mix. Now let's work with our frozen butter cubes. Okay, form a nice pile of flour and start to separate the cubes of butter and gradually add it to the flour, making sure that every cube is dusted nicely to prevent the cubes from sticking together. Once we have achieved that, go ahead and squeeze each individual cube between your thumb and your fingers to make flat ribbon-like pieces of butter. Fair warning, try not to hold on to the butter for too long, for it will get warm and soft. If this happens, go ahead and put the mixture right back into the refrigerator for 5 minutes to harden up the butter again. Okay, so once we have achieved this step, start slowly adding your 1 cup of ice cold water to the mix. For this process, use a bench scraper to avoid heat contact from your hands. I'm roughly kneading the dough. You don't want to over knead it. You just want to keep it loose and hydrated to form a ball of dough. As you can see, I'm keeping it very airy, and now I'm going to pack it together, not kneading as much as possible. This is how you achieve a flaky crust, because the ribbons of cold butter are going to create moisture pockets that will expand and form layers of flakiness. Okay, now that we have our dough, let's go ahead and wrap it with plastic wrap and set it in a ceramic 9-inch pie dish. And place it inside of a refrigerator for a half hour to relax and harden up the butter again. Awesome. A half hour has passed and it's time to roll out our dough. This recipe is for 2 pies, so go ahead and divide your dough into 2 equal portions and wrap one and refrigerate for another time. Okay, dust your counter surface and your dough with flour. When rolling this out, try to keep the shape of your dough square to fold and create more layers like I'm doing. Just going to fold it a couple of times before rolling it out to be thin for the pie dish. Okay, now roll it out, making sure it's evenly thin throughout the whole dough, making sure there's no wet spots. If there is, dust it with a little bit of flour and making sure that you have a nice piece to be able to lay into your pie dish. Awesome. Once you have achieved that step, go ahead and place your rolled out dough onto the pie dish, making sure it's even with the dish as best as possible. Then your excess dough hanging on the outside, go ahead and tuck it under itself, resting nicely on the lip of the pie dish. Then crimp your dough however you want to. I'm keeping it simple and loose because I don't like super hard crusts. Then take a fork and go ahead and perforate the bottom of your pie crust. This is going to reassure that the moisture will escape and won't create unwanted bubbles in the center of your pie. Okay, now put it back in the refrigerator for a little bit until we get our egg mixture ready. Go ahead and preheat your oven for 375. Next, let's caramelize our onions and mushrooms. Add olive oil to your pan to coat. And when your pan is hot, drop your mushrooms first because they hold the most moisture. Once they reduce in size and the color is turning brown, go ahead and drop your onions. Try to get as much moisture out as possible. Add a little salt to release the flavors, and then spice it up with cracked black pepper and freshly grated nutmeg. Use a fair amount that's desirable to the palate. Awesome. Smells delicious. Okay, now let's go ahead and beat our 6 eggs in a mixing bowl and add 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream and a little bit of salt, and then mix very well. Okay, go ahead and add a small layer of cheese to the bottom of the pie, and then add your onions and mushrooms, and afterwards go ahead and drown it with your egg mixture. Okay, you can either use a pastry brush or your 2 fingers like I'm doing right here, and go ahead and use the egg mixture and coat the sides of your crust. And that is it. Go ahead and place your pie inside the oven for 375 for about 35 to 40 minutes, just until the center starts firming up and the top starts turning brown. Alright, 40 minutes has passed and our quiche looks and smells amazing. Caramelized onions and mushroom quiche with a Havarti cheese. Give it some love with a little bit of rough chopped parsley as a garnish. Now look at that, looks pretty. Now I'm going to go ahead and let it sit until it comes down to room temperature before cutting and serving. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button and leave a comment down below to help with the YouTube algorithm. And also, don't forget to subscribe for future updates. Until next time, this is Jeremy signing out.